Trying to see how I show up on the webcam.
I haven't watched us yet.
That will be a jarring experience, I feel like.
There's sort of like an intro ditty that you'll hear in a second.
Okay.
When we go after that.
Yeah.
And of course, if they would have known that they were being recorded, there's no doubt in my mind they would have their conversation with their totally different.
Let me talk, Carol. Translate that for us. I don't know what that means.
We don't have the clothes yet. I haven't written the clothes yet, Mother.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Man, that's so rude. I can't believe that's so goddamn rude.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the Brain Gravy Podcast. I'm your host, Ryan Heckman, here in studio tonight, going around the table to my left, the one, the only, Corey Coleman.
What's up?
And new in studio, making her debut Brain Gravy appearance, the very funny Kelsey Claire Hagen.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And last but certainly not least, becoming a regular on this show anymore, Will Moyer.
Hey, everybody.
How's everybody doing tonight?
So nice.
Yeah? You can say something, Corey.
I'm doing awesome. I'm doing so awesome.
Will and Kelsey Claire, thank you for making the long trip down from the sprawling metropolis that is Rochester.
Yeah.
How was the drive?
It
was good.
Moonlit.
Since it's like
beautiful.
70 degrees now outside.
Yeah,
I know. What's going on with
very
that?
safe.
I don't know. It was great.
Like just earlier this week, it was freezing.
I know.
Like what, negative, or not negative, but like single digit
9
degrees?
Yeah,
It was 9?
dude, everything
9.
was frozen.
3.
There's no snow anymore.
Yeah, it was
It's all
frozen
gone.
like 2 days ago.
It's like springtime.
Springtime in the southern tier.
I was gonna say the producer's song, but I probably should
Springtime for
stop.
Hitler.
Springtime for Hitler. You know, I've been thinking about that movie recently. I love the original, like the 1970s. Who produced that? Was that a Mel Brooks?
Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks,
Meta
yeah.
question. Yeah, it was.
Fucking love Mel Brooks. But the new one with that they did.
Nathan Lane and
Nathan
Matthew
Lane.
Broderick.
Yeah, that one was good too. It held like it did it some
yeah,
justice.
It was campy in all the right ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Kelsey Claire, you're a theater major,
Yeah,
right?
that's why I knew exactly who we were talking about. And I love Nathan Lane. Whatever, it's fine.
I know.
Yeah, I'm a theater person, I guess. Yeah.
What was that like?
It's a really lucrative career path. I'm making millions of dollars every day. I went to Carnegie Mellon for theater, and I guess it teaches you to do stuff, but I'm definitely not on like Broadway. Here I am in Greenwood doing this podcast, but
You finally made it.
Yeah, you made it.
Look at me now, Mom and Dad. It's a good undergrad, but maybe for masters I'll do something a little bit more.
Right, yeah.
And
Carnegie Mellon's a pretty good school, though.
yeah, it's okay. Yeah, I mean it's a good school. Yeah.
I think I seen something in the newspaper recently where like really fresh Carnegie Mellon grad was able to get on like a Broadway show really quick.
That's my really good friend David Patterson.
You know that person?
Yeah, he's
No
like
shit.
one of my best friends from Carnegie Mellon.
Oh, wow, yeah.
He's actually who I was staying in his room when I was like starting to live in New York, and then I was like, oh no, where's all my money? It's gone. And then I moved back here. But yeah, I was like sleeping in his room, and he was doing this great gig in Ithaca. Ironically, we like switched spots. And then, like, when I got back here, he's like, do you want tickets to, like, my Broadway debut? And I was like, what? And
Wow.
I couldn't go, but I know, I'm so proud of him.
How
He's
did he
so
get on
amazing.
Broadway already?
He's just
really good, I guess.
beautiful and amazing, and, like, I don't know. He's very talented. He was just, like, doing, like, random things, and he was, like, all stressing about auditions, and then all of a sudden he's just, like, on Broadway. So it really
Wow.
is, like, a switch. Yeah, I know. I'm really excited for him. That's so cool that you saw that. I thought I was just seeing that because like I went to Carnegie Mellon and people were like freaking out, but I'm so glad he's like made news, like national news.
I think it was one of the top posts on Reddit like the day that
my God.
because there's like a Huffington Post article on it or something like that.
Yeah.
But like so you knew him when he was in college. Was he like one of those people that just was, you could tell was an immediate, like, that person's going to be a star for sure?
I feel like it's always a time and place thing. Like, everybody who gets into Carnegie Mellon is very talented. Well, I didn't go for acting, so I'm not really talking about myself, but they're very talented people. But I guess I love the fact that he's so successful because he's one of those people that was just always nice to everybody and like so accepting and like wanted to hang out with everybody and just like had a really good head on his shoulders. And it's kind of cool to see somebody who's not trying to like kill people to get to like a top spot, to like for him to be successful over
I think
people, you know?
really successful people always have that trait in common. Well, it's either that or else they're fucking ruthless.
They're cutthroat.
Yeah, it's one or the other, but I feel like
Macbeth or like not. Yeah, like Gandhi. Yeah, no, he's definitely deserves every ounce of like success he's gotten. He's just a really nice person. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really excited for him. He like helped me buy Plan B once. He was just like, "We're gonna go buy Plan B." I was like, "I guess I should." And it wasn't for him; it was for me, obviously. But yeah, he's a superstar. He's really great.
So he was working in Ithaca at some point, you say?
Yeah, I don't know what exactly he was doing, but he like his room was open for a month, so I like got to go.
I used to live in Ithaca. You know what's really interesting about Ithaca is like back before Hollywood was like known for filmmaking, Ithaca was known. It's known now as like the Hollywood of the East. They actually used to do a lot of filming in Ithaca.
Really?
Yeah, in
I
fact.
didn't know that.
Rod Serling, who did the Twilight Zone, the old school Twilight Zone, he grew up in Ithaca. And I used to live next to his like childhood best friend who would tell me all these stories about when they were kids and like...
Wow.
Yeah.
What? That is so cool.
Yeah. So I don't know how many what specific films were made in Ithaca, but I know it used to be like the film place. I guess where would be? I guess Pittsburgh's. Like a lot of movies are made in Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh. I think
because the city gives like good tax breaks and stuff for it. I think so.
Yep, that is why.
They well, like Jack Reacher is totally set in there. There's actually a bunch of kids from Carnegie Mellon in that movie, but the Batman movie they were making in
that's
Pittsburgh
a big one.
when I was there. So like bombs were going off in like these shopping centers, not real bombs, but you know.
Perfect time for a terrorist attack. No one would think twice about
like,
it.
It's just Batman.
Yeah. Oh, that's just Batman. You see bodies flying. Oh, they're really getting good at these special effects. Holy shit. Yeah, no, I lived in Pittsburgh for a couple years too, and I love that city. So much really culture there.
Yeah, it's great. I'm hoping to bring Don't Grab My Pussy to Pittsburgh just because I still know so many people there and stuff. But I know I love that city so much. It's a lot like Rochester. There's just like a bunch of like different groups of like diverse groups of people, and like there's so much. Well, there's a lot more history in Pittsburgh behind them than like Rochester. But there's just like a bunch of great places to eat and. I'm so happy I went to college there. That was awesome. The
food scene there is fucking incredible. I've never seen, like, I've been to a bunch of cities and a bunch of different places. I've never seen a better, foodie scene than Pittsburgh.
It's
really?
Insane.
Yeah, by a long shot, dude.
Wow.
Like, what's that one stretch where it's just like a street of... It's got a specific name, but there's all different types of stores, and a lot of them are...
Shady Side?
It's not Shady Side. It's like right below one of those lifts that go up the hill. It's like right in the center.
Yeah. I can't remember what you're talking... You're talking about like the elevator that like goes up the hill.
Yeah, it's like
and
right in front of that.
South side. It's not the South Wedge because that's not Rochester. It's the South Side, yeah.
There's
so many... places to eat there.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.
And like it's known for like pierogies is one of the main.
And the Pittsburgh sandwich, which has like fries in the sandwich and coleslaw, which is amazing.
That was started by the Primanti brothers or the Primanti brothers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been a big fan. Like, do you guys know what that sandwich is?
No, I eat a Pittsburgh salad though.
It's probably the same thing. So the sandwich... I'm sorry, go on.
The salad has like a ribeye and French fries on it.
Yeah.
So it's just like all of your dinner just on one plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sandwich is basically the same thing, but it's piled with coleslaw too. And I guess the reasoning behind it was when the steel factory was there, you would have all these guys that would have like I don't know, fucking 15 minutes for their lunch break. And the Primanti brothers, before it was like a local chain, it was just like a single restaurant, would sell these giant sandwiches with all the stuff in it. The fries would be in it.
Yeah.
So these steel workers would have 15 minutes, would come off the line, get a sandwich with everything in it, and then just eat it as they're walking back.
See, I've heard a difference. I've heard hundreds of different stories for why it's like that. But the one I heard was like, one day the Primanti brothers it was just like a stand, and you would go and like eat and whatever. Yeah. And then one day they ran out of boats like to put your fries and shit in, and so they were like, well, we're just gonna throw it on the sandwich, and then like a star was born or whatever. So I don't know, but I've heard even more variations of that story and the story you're talking about. It'll just stay a mystery, I guess. It's very interesting.
I don't know. I'm sure like the real story is probably a little bit of each of those legends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or the Primanti brothers were just stoners.
I mean, honestly, it is a fucking great stoner.
Dude, I'm going to put french fries on everything.
And coleslaw.
Yeah.
Coleslaw. Yeah. I mean, I do that with like regular sandwiches still. Like if I like putting French fries on my hamburger if I'm feeling crazy.
Potato chips.
Potato chips. I've never been a potato chip person.
I just like the different textures, you know.
Potato chips in a sandwich is good.
Yeah.
You know what I've had on a hamburger that tastes fucking amazing is peanut butter. Has anyone here ever had peanut butter?
Yeah, I have. It's
oddly good.
It's not bad.
What's this peanut butter you speak of?
I literally feel like everyone went silent and they're like, this guy's fucking
No, trust me.
nuts.
Every time I tell that, it's basically the same reaction. I was at a restaurant in Seattle that was like, they have like 100 different types of hamburgers on the menu. And I like a good hamburger, so I asked the waiter, I was like, what's the most popular one here? And he told me it's the peanut butter one, and I'm like, fuck it. I like peanut butter.
I can see that being really good.
It's it mixes really well for some reason. I don't know why.
And like salt and sweet.
Yeah, that's what does it. The salt and the.
That's awesome.
There's this Puerto Rican dish that I make, and you take plantains and you cut them long ways and lay them down. You end up making like a lasagna out of it, but it's fried bananas and then ground beef and cheese and bacon. And then another layer of these fried bananas.
That sounds so fucking
meat
good.
And cheese and bacon. And then you like whip up some eggs and then just like pour it on so it all just like congeals and solidifies itself all together. And it's bananas and bacon and ground beef and cheese. And you wouldn't think that it would taste good, but it is some of the most amazing things that I've ever eaten.
That is... literally sounds like you're like, oh, I have like all this stuff in my fridge. I wonder what I'll do with it. I just make a lasagna out of it.
What is it called?
Yeah. I don't remember.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's a great name.
But I make it.
That's so cool.
I think that goes off the same idea of like, for some reason, salty and sweet goes together so well.
So good.
Yeah. How long have you been making that dish?
For 15 years.
15 years?
Yeah.
I love fried plantains.
I do too.
Yeah.
I tried to do it myself once though, and they just got mushy. How do you fry them?
You have to wear a shirt.
Oh. Well, then I can't make them because I only cook.
Yeah, if you cook plantains, if you fry up bananas in a brazier, you will get third-degree burns on your boobs.
Okay,
so put a shirt on, number one. And then, you cook them, you fry them, like you just cut them, and then fry them, and then take them out, and then squish them down, and then refry them. So it's like a double fry.
Okay.
That's how you get them to be crispy and tasty.
Yeah,
You kind of got to put a sear on them first, almost, and walk in that flavor.
So they don't like their water isn't like keeping them from getting fried. That makes sense. I'm gonna try that again.
Yeah, double fry.
Yeah.
I tried because they have plantains in Wegmans, and I love fried plantains. The last time I had them was like on a vacation, and they were so fucking good. It was the vacation was in Mexico, so I felt like they knew what they were doing down there with them. But I fried a whole bunch, and I ate like a bunch. And the thing about plantains is they're very fibrous. And I had the worst stomach ache of my life. Like it was like I don't know if anyone's ever experienced like lactose intolerance. I had a
bubble guts.
But it's just like your stomach like is just twisting on itself. It's very painful, and it's because I ate all these fucking fried plantains, and my stomach was just like trying its best to digest it. Was not going well.
I thought fiber was supposed to make you
like
kind of flush.
Exit. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that definitely happened eventually, but for a while there, it was
trying to be a lady about it.
No, I don't know. I mean, I'm just assuming that it was because that was the only thing in my diet that it was different that day, and I did eat a whole fucking bunch because I mean, I just went crazy on it. Like I seen them in Wegmans, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go to town on these fucking.
Wait, this is Wegmans in Mexico?
No, this is I had them originally in Mexico, but then I found them in Wegmans like a couple years later, and I was like, plantains? Sounds like a good fucking treat tonight. Was not. I mean, it was good at the time, but yeah.
I'll make some of that lasagna stuff.
Yeah, that sounds really good.
Yeah, actually, talking about it makes me want to eat it right now. I might go to Wegmans.
Next podcast, bring it
right
up.
Right now. I might make them right now.
Next podcast, bring it up, and then we'll eat it on air because that's what everybody loves to hear. It's just like, really good, really good.
Oh, yeah. It makes you make weird noises.
Yeah. Do you know any other do you know a lot of Puerto Rican dishes?
A lot.
Do you really?
Yeah.
How do you know so many?
My daughter's father, I lived with him for a while, and then
he's Puerto Rican?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he like taught me Puerto Rican stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
I
assimilated too well. It took a while to get back to the Caucasian.
I feel like rice and beans is a Puerto Rican staple, right?
Yeah.
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 I used to, like, when I was growing up, I used to live next to a Puerto Rican family just up in Rexville, which is in the middle of fucking nowhere. I mean, you don't know where it is, but middle of nowhere, about 5 miles away. And this Puerto Rican family lived, like, right down the road from me, which is cool because they had a whole bunch of children that were my age. And I was constantly staying there, and, like, I remember rice and beans was like 5 out of 7 days out of the week. Yeah. She would also babysit, like me and my sisters too. But this lady, her name was Waleska, and she made this one dish, and I don't know if it's like you can tell me if this is a Puerto Rican dish, but it was chicken. It was like chicken soup, but the noodles were like giant pieces of like dough, basically. Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Does that sound? I didn't know if this was just something that she made up or if it's a Puerto Rican dish in itself. But
no, like that chicken stew. Like, was it chicken thighs in like a reddish?
Sauce.
Yeah. That's a staple.
Is it?
Yeah. Just the ingredients that they use. It's there's like a lot of tomato sauce and the seasonings and stuff make it orange colored, but just throwing the dough on top is just like dumplings.
That was the best part. Like, you would get these really long, like doughy noodles that were like this big around.
That sounds
it was delicious. And for someone that loves dough as much as I do,
is that your thing? You love
He's
dough.
a doughboy. He's a real doughboy.
I could eat bread for every the other day I was having dinner and I bought some of the Wegmans Tuscan garlic bread. Have you guys had that yet?
Yes.
That is fucking crack. All right, that is straight up fucking crack. You can get addicted to it, and I have to be careful. Like when I go to Wegmans,
don't fucking buy it. You will end up in a.
You will have a crippling Tuscan garlic bread addiction.
I got a 3-legged chair and 17 cents. What can I get? What kind of Tuscan deal can we deal?
My body.
I can get a heel for that much.
You've been trying to bake it, right?
Oh, dude, I did. I was trying to bake Italian bread the other night, and I'm a pretty good baker. Like, we've talked about it before in this podcast. I fucking can bang out like pretty good fucking pies. Yeah, I'm a pie master, and I cook pretty well too. Like I like doing all of that. And I figured that would translate easily into bread, but I tried cooking Italian bread. The first time it came out like dense as fucking lead. Like I sent a snap.
Sorry, go on.
No, I sent a Snapchat to some friends, and I'm just like banging it off the table, and it's like could drive a fucking nail into that motherfucker. And then, but that was sort of like a test run anyway, because I figured like the next one would be better. So I I bought like brand new yeast, like yeast that wasn't expired. I did it.
Was that the problem with the first batch?
I think it was, yeah, because the yeast is like the most important part.
Yeah.
And the first batch was expired, but it still like came alive once you put it in sugar. I think I used too warm of water, because if it's over 110 degrees, it'll kill the yeast.
Oh, and then the bread doesn't rise?
Yeah, but if it's below like 80 degrees, the yeast doesn't activate quick enough. So there's kind of like a fine...
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah.
But the next one I made, the crust was just fucking hard as a rock. So I don't know. It was for dinner that night, and I ended up just getting the Wegmans Tuscan garlic.
I'm not much of a baker. I'm a fantastic cook, but I don't dabble in the baking, and I don't really dabble in the desserts so much. I mean, I'm not very confident on my pastry game or my bread game, or like I'm not good at rolling shit out. But in the kitchen, I'm very confident, and I'm a very, very good cook. But I don't fuck with bread, and I don't.
Yeah,
I'll make a box cake mix and be completely content.
Yeah,
I mean, box cake is pretty much the same ingredients that you would use in a cake from scratch.
If you add if you take a box cake recipe and then just add like an extra egg and use like either vitamin D milk or like half and half instead of like the skim milk they suggest, or like the water they suggest, you can have like a dope cake and like not really put that much effort into it. Yeah, I've made like a bunch of cakes and been like, it's homemade, but like really just because I like had to look up like a little bit extra stuff other than the back of the cake box. Yeah. But yeah, that's the extent of my baking too. I mostly want to not make stuff that I'm just gonna eat for like all of my meals and like have no energy afterwards and stuff like that. So I try to make things that'll like actually be supplementary to me. So.
Do you guys learn like 90% of how to cook from YouTube? Because I feel like that is where I've learned so much stuff.
And the other 10% is just from like being a woman. Like I
just
it's in your DNA, obviously.
They're like, I was like, I'm already doing it.
I put my vagina in the kitchen and then dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, like there's like no steps in between. I just show up and then fucking dinner happens.
Yeah.
It's like the first time you stepped in a kitchen, you're like, I don't really know what I'm doing here, and someone's like, no, trust me. And you walked in, you're like, wait a second, you're grabbing stuff like spontaneously, putting it together. Like, how do I know all this?
Okay, so my husband and I have been together for a long time, right? So we've started hooking up in like our early 20s, and now we're not in our early 20s anymore. So we've grown up together, and I remember some of the first meals that we shared together that I cooked. I hooked up some Hamburger Helper and was so proud of myself. Just like, look what I prepared.
Yeah.
I heated up these green beans in this plastic bowl, and now, it's 10, 12, 14, 15 years later, and I can actually prepare an entire meal minus the bread and, home baked
Did you just learn it all by just doing it?
Pretty much. Yeah. I mean, like people, you start having kids and then they get hungry.
Yeah.
So you
I've
have
heard
to
that. I've heard that about them.
So you have to like constantly like throw food at them. So yeah, I mean you have to learn.
They never get over that either.
They don't.
Always want to eat.
They do.
It's so annoying.
Consistently every fucking day. And it's funny because it's I worry about dinner. Nobody else in my family worries about dinner. They're like, I don't know, sometime when the sun goes down, I will be putting food into my mouth. They don't think about it. It's like the third thing that I think about in the middle of the day.
Dinners per week to everybody. Like Wednesday is your dinner day.
No, stay out of my kitchen.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, but I'm concerned with that kind of stuff. I have to feed my family.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you learn.
Are you one
to cook?
Are you one of these type of people now that can just like, you don't look at any recipe books? You basically you're taking stuff off the shelf and adding it like by sight.
Fucking Ratatouille.
Yeah.
That's the most famous chef I know.
Yeah.
I cook for like a living. That's what I do for money, which is like so different. But I I'm like fine at like cooking on the line and stuff, and like I can like create specials and stuff, but cooking for one person, like yourself, like alone, is so much different than cooking for a bunch of people, because you have to like figure out, like you really have to be adamant about like what you're wasting and like what you need to utilize in the next 3 days before your like cilantro goes bad. Like it's a totally different way of cooking. And then also like dulling down recipes for one that like
Right.
are supposed to serve 12 people, and you're like, it's just me, myself, and I tonight. Home taste of home, like so yeah, I've
You need like taste of apartment.
thing. Yeah, I know. Taste of loneliness.
Taste of studio.
Yeah.
Single studio.
I mean, but you asked, like, do you watch YouTube videos?
Yeah.
I like when I first started, like, cooking is one of those things that you can be a little bit like you can
I'm
do
gonna
that.
play around a little bit.
You can play,
yeah.
but with
Yeah.
baking, it has to be a little bit more exact. But when I first started getting into baking, that's what I did. That's how I learned. Like I really wanted to know how to make a solid old fashioned apple pie, like everything from scratch. And I just spent like 2 or 3 hours on YouTube first, like watching people. Like basically watching tips and tricks videos.
Yeah.
I do that with everything.
Yeah.
I looked up how to pour water from a coffee mug, or how to pour coffee from a coffee mug without having it run down the back of the mug the other day on YouTube.
Oh my god, the
I
spoon,
can't-
right?
That's
It's driving me crazy. I keep having the AeroPress, and it makes
Yeah.
Wait, I
the
showed
AeroPress
you,
is
though.
a great coffee
It's,
maker.
like,
I know this was
everywhere,
before you were up there.
Oh, okay.
Because every day, though, you have to make the coffee into one cup. The way the AeroPress works, you just press down into one cup. So you can make enough for 2 or 3 cups, but it all ends up in one, and then you have to evenly distribute it. And I was just losing coffee with the dribbling down the back of the cup, and it was
shit.
driving me crazy. So I'm like, I got to go to YouTube and see.
well, I
And I
showed
just
it.
ended up reading about water tension for like surface tension of water for like 10 minutes and not having any other solution. The spoon solution.
Yeah, I showed him that because, like, you're a bartender, so you know, like, when you're pouring a shot that has layers, if you don't want the layers to mix, because like it's all based on density, so to get like a layer in there and not have it mix with the other one, you put it over a spoon so it hits the spoon first.
If you don't like the person, you lick that spoon.
Exactly, yeah. Well, you cough on it first, and then you like.
Tips and tricks.
Yeah.
You just fixed your car using YouTube.
I did, yeah. I needed to replace my rear wheel bearing on my car that's out there, and it was quoted at like $800 from the not the dealership, but like a local repair shop. Mostly just because of the time. So I'm like, but me and my dad have been doing this for years, like with brakes, with calipers, with rotors, all this stuff.
Yeah.
We go on YouTube. You just watch. Usually it's like a 30-minute video or less.
The guy talks for like the first 10 minutes about nonsense.
Yeah,
and you're
it's like,
shut
get
the fuck
over
up.
yourself.
Yeah.
And then, there's a list of parts that you need. You can go to AutoZone. There's AutoZone, and then there's Advanced Auto, and there's like a billion everywhere. So if you can't find the part at one, you can definitely find it at the other. And there's Napa, too. But all those parts, I mean, like any repair shop, it's not like they have like a secret hookup for parts. They just go to the same places.
Yeah.
So like I went on YouTube, and I watched this video. It took half an hour to watch it, but it took me about, I'd say, me and my dad about 3 hours to actually do the job. And it wasn't easy. Like we were, like crawling around under it, and it wasn't easy. It was just.
But it saved you like $700.
Yeah, the cost of the part was $139, and that's it. Yeah, and
Yeah, I mean, it's not like you have to fully understand what you're doing
No,
and why.
it's like
You literally
Legos.
just visually, yeah. It's literally, yeah. That's
My
insane.
husband is brilliant, and he has learned so much stuff on YouTube.
Yeah.
So much stuff on YouTube. When we moved up here, our house was under construction. We had drywall and primer. That was it. We had like subflooring, no floors, no electricity, no water running. Like everything was shit.
Yeah.
So it started to get cold, and we didn't have heat, right? We didn't have a furnace. So he did some research and found out that furnace and to make it hot inside of your house is very expensive. So he called like a furnace dealer, And apparently you have to be like an HVAC technician. So Bill
put
did
one
some,
in.
to buy one, right? So Bill went and he...
Oh, like you can't just buy a furnace and put it in your own house.
No.
I think that's because of the exhaust, maybe.
You have to be
Something
like
you gotta
contract, you have to be like a
people.
contractor.
Yeah.
So he just called them up. He's like, yeah, my name's Bill Coleman from Bill Coleman Incorporated and from Greenwood, New York, and I need a furnace. And he put a furnace in. I mean, like we had a couple like
Your
bumps
house burned
and-
down.
like twice, but
We had some insurance claims.
yeah, now he's an HVAC representative. Yeah, he went to Google University and he's brilliant.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you heard it here first, people. YouTube. It's going to be big.
YouTube. It's the next big thing.
Can we link that somehow on the
Yeah,
podcast?
we'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
YouTube.com.
All right.
Yeah, it's like there's so much stuff on the internet these days. Like MIT, like you can take so many MIT courses because they have open course. Like you can take a physics class.
They're on iTunes, too.
They're on
You can take like a
and they're free.
Stanford programming class
Yeah.
to learn how to like
That's
develop
insane.
iPhone apps.
When I was taking physics, I would watch those MIT physics classes, which MIT is like one of the, if not the top school in the country for engineering. And their professors there are fucking like top notch. So like you're watching this video,
Learning from the best people in the world,
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're basically like you can watch like physics videos by some of the top physicists in the world, but they have it for chemistry, mathematics, all MIT courseware. But Caltech has one, Stanford, like all these top universities have it. And then there's Khan Academy, which is like this guy basically just started like they're all like kind of shitty videos, but he's a really brilliant guy and just goes through and simply explains like complex mathematics. Like that's how I learned calculus, is by him just basically like he's drawing on a tablet. You don't see it, you just see like whatever is showing up on his tablet. And he's just going through like, this is why this happens, and if you don't get this, well, this is why it happens, and goes through like that's basically
This
how
is
I
Khan
got through
from
calculus.
Star Trek 2, right?
Yeah,
Is
exactly.
that Khan? Okay.
I wish I could do it. If Steve was here, he could probably do a killer
The Khan
fucking
scream.
Khan. No, his last name is Khan. He's an Indian guy, but really cool guy. He had like
It's
a
not
TED
just
Talk.
him now, right? It's like anybody can put videos on Khan Academy, I think. Aren't
Yeah,
they?
I think he's opened it up. But when he first started it was just him, and then like a lot of places where like it just became like one of those things that went viral amongst college students. You know what I mean?
Like the Facebook.
Like this whole Facebook thing. I still think it's a fad. What do you guys think?
Crazy thing.
Zuckerberg might run for president. Have you guys seen that?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Literally.
Where did you see that at?
I don't know. I saw people sharing it on,
On
Facebook.
Facebook.
Of course.
Was that just one of those things where you read the?
No, it's like real news that like he's doing like political stuff, like positioning himself.
Well, fucking
I
Trump
mean,
can
after
do
Trump
it.
won, Trump proved
run for
that
president.
any rich white guy could be president.
Yeah,
So now Zuckerberg's going to do it.
Ham sandwich 2020.
you think? Do you guys think Kanye is going to run in 2020 still?
I seriously think he probably tried to run already, and someone was like, "You can't."
I think Kanye's already president in his own mind.
Yeah. He's got like a fucking moon of Jupiter that like thinks he's their god or something.
Yeah. Dude, the thing about Kanye is I was going through my iTunes like music list the other day, and I was listening to some old Kanye West from, I think it's Graduate is the CD.
Yeah.
Graduation.
Graduation, yeah.
Okay.
That is a good fucking CD, dude. I don't care who you
I
are.
love
Killer
Kanye.
music, yeah.
He's just an absolutely
He's just a
insane
douchebag.
person.
I
Yeah,
know.
I literally would never want to be friends with him ever. But
And I know he
his
listens to this
music
show.
is dope.
We're calling him out. We're calling you
Kanye.
out on air.
I challenge you.
Get at me, tweet me at.
Come on, Brain Gravy. Come to Greenwood, New York, and show us what you got.
Gonna have a wrap off.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's super talented, but he's just like he literally needs clinical help. Like something's.
He just had some.
Yeah.
He's an extreme narcissist.
Did he really?
Yeah, he
Oh.
went to boys camp for a little bit.
Did he?
Yeah, to the spa, to the 28-day spa.
Oh, is rehab?
Like rehab?
Well, like brain rehab.
Oh.
Like rehab from
I
himself?
thought
Yeah, you know,
Kanye
like
did that,
exhaustion and dehydration.
He just went to like
and-
celebrity camp.
yeah, like he just he
Celebrity
needed
summer
like
camp.
yeah, he needed like 6 6 days of Xanax
Shit.
and massages.
God,
I
what a
need that.
different world.
Yeah,
need that.
we all need that after everything. But ooh, hopefully it'll stick. I don't know.
have you? I'm sure you guys have probably seen a couple episodes of Entourage, right?
Yeah, I think I've seen
you
every
mean
episode of Entourage.
Douchebag.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
Frat Boy, the Frat
Yeah.
Boy channel.
Yeah.
Like I always wonder if that show like is like a real reflection on what it is to be a celebrity, like that type of celebrity in Hollywood, as far as just
Maybe. I mean, it seemed that
I
way.
hope not. Ugh.
It probably is.
You
I mean, there's
think
people
so?
probably living like Vinny
Yeah.
Chase in real life.
is that's the main character's
yeah.
name, right? Wasn't that show based on Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, it was like Wahlberg's crew.
Yeah. And
Makes me
then
so mad. I hate that show so much. It literally makes me want to punch everyone in the dick. Like,
it is
I
a super
can't
douchey
So
show.
stand
douchey.
it. Their like whole thing about side boob. I'm like, okay, like there's literally humans attached to that side boob. Like maybe we should talk about it.
Why? What was the thing with side boob?
I don't know.
I
They
don't
just
know.
like it.
I dated a guy in college who was like really into Entourage, and like, and like needless to say, was also a giant douche monster. And and I just remember them like obsessing about side boob for an entire episode, and like deciding whether or not. I think maybe
Is that
I'm
like-
just thinking
I
of
believe
other
it. I don't
douche
remember that episode, but I
people.
believe it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that like like when women wear clothing where you see like it's like
Yeah,
a here?
it's like only for women who don't have to wear bras, which I don't fucking know who those women are. But like, yeah, it's like when your boobs point perfectly out, and then you don't have to wear a bra. What? I literally like. What?
I need a bra. I need a bra to fit into clothes.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Okay, hey, good for you. I wasn't body shaming. I just like don't understand it myself because I literally have like crack marks on my shoulders from my bra since I was like 12 years old. Like, but yeah, no, it's when you can see your boobs are pointing perfectly forward, and then you can see the line where your boob like creases with the rest of your body. It's sensual, I guess.
Yeah.
is how-
There's underboob.
yeah,
Underboob.
underboob, yeah.
I don't know. I guess side boob. I don't know.
I can see the allure. I definitely get it, but
I
I
don't-
don't wanna.
I wonder if like do you remember that dress that Jennifer Lopez wore like I don't know 15
Oh
years
yeah,
ago?
the Versace.
It was like
Versace
really
dress?
The green one?
yeah. I wonder if that was like the start of
I don't know.
side boob.
Didn't Flea or Anthony Kiedis wear it the very next year?
Yeah, that's right. I think it was Anthony Kiedis from Red Hot Chili Peppers wore
Yeah.
the same dress.
What? This is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is way back when, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little.
Yeah, this was probably like 15 years ago.
That's like early 2000.
yeah, because she was like dating Puffy, and that was like 15 or 16 or.
It was back when Puffy
That
was
wasn't
Puffy
certainly
too, and
wasn't
not P Diddy.
yesterday. Oh,
Oh,
golly.
what? Oh, Puffy, Puff Daddy, P Diddy. Okay.
Used to be-
yes,
yeah.
Gotcha.
It was Puff Daddy at first, then it was Puffy, then he went to P, then he went to P Diddy,
What?
then he went to P Diddy Puff a Pop, and now it's just Pop, right? Is
Is that real?
no? Half of it isn't.
I think Entourage started at a time, it was like late 90s, right? Early 2000s,
I don't remember.
where like it hadn't become like a totally bad thing to be like broy. Where like broiness was still cool, and like being broy with your boys was like, this is a cool thing. We'll watch Entourage. We all want to do this. We want to like hug each other on a rooftop and like cheers that everything worked out. And we all got our
Yeah.
movie parts.
Yeah,
That is good that they had like male camaraderie, and you don't usually see that heralded in like mainstream television. That like
Really? I feel
I
like
feel
you
like
see it
that-
constantly.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like dudes hanging out being dudes. I feel like
Well,
that's
but
a,
like supporting one another and be like, here's my feelings, and like I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk about like this like relationship issue with you, and we're.
But they
gonna,
didn't really
like, still
do
be
that, did they?
friends. I feel like that one sensitive guy who had like a
E.
threesome. Is that what his name is? And he's
Oh,
kinda,
yeah.
he's kind of good looking. He had like a threesome with his girlfriend, and then like they obviously got in a fight afterwards because that's like I don't know. In my opinion, that'd be crazy because she was like upset at how it went with the other woman.
because he was
You know what
like a
I'm
little
talking
bit
about?
more into the other woman. I'm just guessing,
Yeah,
but that's probably what it was.
Something like was to intimate, and I feel like he would like go and talk to them about stuff.
Yeah, there was a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Was he the one that like broke away and like tried to do?
He tried to become like a manager.
Yeah.
And he was dating Sloane, and Sloane was like so much better than everyone on that show, and she was like awesome.
Yeah,
and it was like short little E with like beautiful Sloane, and
I don't know. Someone gave me like 4 or 5 of the seasons, like back when like torrenting stuff was huge, and like people had like whole external like hard drives full of seasons, and like I watched a little bit of it to know like these characters now that you say them. But I mean, I don't know. It was an alright show, I guess. It is very douchey.
I really just came in here. I was like, fuck you.
I know like, that's how everyone feels about it now. Everyone feels that way.
I'm not
about
defending. I'm not defending that show at all.
I think sometimes there's like, because there are really people like that, like it's good to represent anyone, even if like I don't agree with them. But I also think that it was coupled with like poor writing, like not great acting. Like
it was like a snack food show.
Yeah,
it was
exactly. It's like I like don't want to think about anything, and I will put this on. It's like DC Cupcakes or like Cake Boss. You know,
right?
That's where I put it.
I love cake.
I do watch those shows though. Like, and
my kids, you can see like your viewing history on some of those apps that you get like when you're on Xbox, like Crackle and CBS, and you know you can see what you've watched. Well, I was going through mine, and my kids watched like 2 entire seasons of Cupcake Wars.
Yeah.
And I'm like, when the hell are you guys watching Cupcake Wars? But like that's like their thing that they do together.
That's
and it's
sweet.
the funniest thing because there's like, you know, this like moody 14-year-old girl and then like this little 9-year-old boy, and they're just sitting on the couch watching Cupcake Wars.
I love baking competition shows. And actually, it's funny because Vinny Polino keeps posting stuff on Facebook about the Great American Baking Show.
Oh, I haven't seen that. Yeah.
Yeah, he posts stuff on it sometimes, and I guess he's getting into it or something. I'm not going to speak for Vinny, but I have watched the Great British Baking Show, and it's cool. Like the British version is really authentic because it's real. And there was like a 15-year-old girl who was like underdog from the start because of her age, and she ended up fucking winning it, dude. And she was incredible through the whole thing.
That's
calm,
crazy.
cool, collective, while these adults were like running around with a chicken with its head cut off. You know what I mean? Like she was hungry for it. You know what I mean? She was hungry for success.
There was someone who was blind, and they ended up winning MasterChef a couple years ago.
Yeah. She was Vietnamese. How do you pronounce that?
Vietnamese.
Yeah, shit. I love fucking MasterChef. It's a little bit fucking hokey, some episodes, but that season was fucking good because she was completely blind. Did you watch it? Am I cutting?
Oh yeah.
Like, why don't you tell the story so I don't cut you off? You started it. I'm like, let me just take over.
No, I mean,
go for it.
I watched this cooking show, and the person who won was blind. I really didn't have anything else to say other than that.
That's it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Dude, she was fucking good, though.
She was good.
Good story.
Yeah, and it was the same way as that British girl. Like, she came in there, like, she was very hungry for success, and she already came in there with this handicap that was a handicap. Like, I guess you could perceive it is a handicap if you're not her, but that's all she's ever known. And you wouldn't think that she would make these amazing dishes, but did
the other contestants hate her?
No, because she was fucking nice as hell, dude. Like, all these other contestants would get like would be like, you know, try to like had their little back and forths of, you know, and try to upset people, but she just wasn't having it.
Yeah.
Calm, cool, collective. Always like her dishes were always in the top 3. That's how that show works. Like,
are you talking about the 15-year-old or the blind girl?
The blind girl, yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm not a doctor, but I feel like once you lose one sense, like your others are like super great. So
that's
like,
what it was,
dude. I bet she was amazing at it.
Yeah, but not having your sight for cooking, that's big.
Yeah, and cooking. She was like next to other people, right? Because like, how did was she just always staying like behind and like?
You have your own workstation,
Right.
and she had someone there helping her. Like,
oh, okay. So they
to,
would
like,
go
hand
get
her
stuff
things?
for her and stuff.
yeah, but I mean, that person was very rarely used. Like, it's not like she was basically like, just do this and that. Like the show made a point to say like, hey, like I forget what her name is. Do you remember what her name was? No. But she didn't use that person a lot, and like the thing, like what you said, like when you lose one sense, you get all these. Like she was constantly like smelling and tasting, and like I think one of the big problems that a lot of people have in that show is that they get so caught up in the time limit they have, like because you get like 60 minutes to make like these dishes, that they don't stop to taste their food on the way, and like. Or just it's like the details that I think her lack of
She was
sight
like
caused.
methodical.
Yeah, very methodical. But man, her dishes looked so fucking good, and she ended up winning it. She went straight. Like there wasn't any moment where she was kind of like, "Will she make it through this week? Will she won't?" Always on top every single week. Cool. Yeah. MasterChef's a fucking cool show. The first couple seasons were great, but then like lately, the past couple seasons, it's kind of gotten a little bit too. I don't know what the word it would be. Just sort of like overproduced, I guess.
Like hokey. Yeah,
hokey, yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like most of those cooking shows did. I watched Chopped a lot, and I feel like they're always like, who's gonna, like, they want you to, like, be attached and, like, worried about these people that you've only known for, like, 15 minutes, and they're like, who's gonna make it? And you're like, I don't actually care that much. Like, it's kind of crazy that you, like, assume but they totally make it.
Well, that's like the reality TV show thing where it, like, has to be the drama and, like, everyone's fighting and it's all edited for, like, the maximum intensity of who's going to win. And
I know.
I stopped watching reality TV. There's a few shows that I do like. That one where they put makeup on and do, like, sci-fi characters.
Oh, that's a cool show. That's
what's
amazing.
that one?
It's
I can't remember what it's called either.
Face Off.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, and it's
so
all the
talented.
makeup, and they do something special every week, and you got to make like a monster, or you're given.
That sounds fucking cool.
It's really cool. It's in like the 7th or 8th season.
Huh.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's on the Sci-Fi Channel, right?
Yeah.
And they get like all their shows to come in and be like, you have to like liken your product this week to like be like from The Walking Dead. I think they did once, and they did like it's a really cool show. It's amazing.
That's cool.
we just did an episode about reality TV show. Reality TV.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I have to edit it and release it still, but it's more about like the idea of, are you actually showing real things? You're claiming to show real stuff.
Now,
but,
did
like,
you talk about like the first episode of The Real World MTV?
We talked about it. I don't know if we talked about like the first episode or like the first season of Real World. We talked a lot about Jersey Shore.
See, because I think, well, honestly, because that show was the first reality pushed show.
All these people
there.
are going to live in a house. We're going to record it. And,
Yeah.
like,
Right. And I think that was the only reality show that the people were real.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what the part of the conversation was about. Or like, can you ever be real? Like, once you know there's cameras on you and you know there's like expected roles for you to play of like, oh, you're you're like the antagonistic person, or you're the like dumb blonde, or you're the asshole
redhead
douchebag.
girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you the Snooki? Like, once you know there's one, I don't know. The producers are going for that, so they're pushing you to do that, and they're filtering people out based on it.
But
So
I feel like, and I'm not trying to like replicate your podcast out here, but I feel like that's a kind of what like life is. Like, once you are sitting in a group of people, like, you are going to fit a different niche than you would if you were a different group of people. But obviously, like, I guess that's like, what is real,
yeah,
like,
basically that's what the conversation ended up being. Like, if you're recording, if you have a show where people are on like their first date and their camera's there, they're gonna do like somewhat of a performance.
Yeah.
But okay, so like, take away them knowing there's cameras there. Now it's hidden cameras. Aren't they still doing a performance because it's a first date?
Yeah.
Like, is that...
Yeah.
That's interesting.
When do you get to like, oh, now this is actually genuine people just being themselves?
There was a show like that, right? Where they like hit a camera and the other person on the date didn't know they were on camera.
Really? I don't know.
Yeah.
At least I've seen people emulate that show as like a joke.
It was called Cheaters, though.
Oh,
I remember that one, yeah.
That's a good one. And Cops, I guess.
Yeah.
I really
So
want.
much of the date sense.
I really
Snapped.
want like a Tinder dating app reality TV show where you just see people on like their first Tinder
That's
dates.
fucking good,
But I
dude.
don't want them to know. I just want to see how people act
It
on.
should just be from bartenders' like point of view.
Yeah.
Because I feel like bartenders always have the best Tinder date.
Or they just have like a camera on the first date table, and
Yeah.
then people go to it and they're on their Tinder date, and you get to hear all the like awkward introductory stuff or like the cringy things that they're saying.
Yeah. Oh,
It would be
God,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, because like I guess of like probably like half the Tinder like first dates are not really implied to go too far, right? It's more of like a hookup app, right?
Yeah, I mean it could be whatever app, but I just like that like we met on the internet and now we're like
Yeah.
on a date.
It's a good fucking
and there's
idea,
all these
dude.
expectations about it, and
Yeah. And I think it's even more interesting because Tinder is a app where, unlike any other dating app, like you really don't know anything about the person except
Yeah.
what they specifically tell you when you're talking. Like you just see a picture, and so
Very
like,
superficial.
Yeah, like no matter what, you're gonna have like that awkward thing where you're like, "Oh, you looked really filtered."
they've done like the social experiment videos where like they set up like a fake account with certain pictures and then they have the person show up and look way different, like
they
be
call that-
way bigger or something like that.
Isn't that called catfishing? Is that the expression for that?
Yeah. Well, that's when you're not even like you're a different
That's
gender
a
or
whole
whatever.
Other show,
But then they would
too,
film the
yeah.
people reacting like, "Oh, I'm sitting here waiting for my date, and these were the pictures of her," and then she shows up and she's totally different. Like, how does the person react to it?
Bye.
But I want both. I want it to be a real date with people acting as if they didn't know there was cameras there, and I want to just watch
Just
the
complete
awkwardness play out.
voyeurism.
Yeah, basically.
One time, oh my god, this is the worst story I've ever told in my entire life, and I will tell it because we're gonna get more listeners for it. But I was on a Tinder date once, and the guy came over to my house, which is like a really stupid thing to do. I don't know what I was doing all the time
To
in
begin?
college. Yeah, like I met him. I think we were having a party, and I like had him come over, and he like looked totally different, and he was like a little like intense for like the first Tinder date. So he was like, you know, maybe I'll go like get some beer from down the street and bring it back. And I was like, yeah, do that. And then I like didn't answer his calls when he like wanted to come back in. It was really rude. It was really shitty. And then I like never spoke to him again. But I kind
Did
of was
he actually
like,
come back to the house?
he literally
He was
I
just like
saw
standing on your
him.
front door.
Yeah, I like saw him through the window, and I was so mean.
That's good TV. I would
That's
watch
good
that.
TV,
Yeah.
right? My whole life. Good TV.
Like you see the guy like
was
walking
really
around the
fucked
side of the
up.
house, like knocking on windows.
Yeah.
I'm back. I got beer. See, beer.
I know. I felt guilty, but I also was like, well, like I feel like Tinder is like the fucking animal kingdom. Like you can't go on Tinder and then be like, well, everyone's gonna be really nice to me. Like I feel like I'm probably
Yeah.
not the worst person who's been on
But there's a
Tinder.
lot of like assholey conventions that have happened because of that, where you're like, I don't have to care about this person's feelings.
no,
I don't have to
that's
treat them
totally
like a human
true.
being.
That's really shitty.
I'm just
Like,
gonna swipe left on you as a human in
Yeah.
real life. You swiped
But,
left on him in
yeah.
real life. He left your house and you were like,
literally,
I'm swiping left.
I was like,
He's never coming back to my
right,
house.
and then left. Bye. Yeah, that's pretty fucked.
I want that
my
show.
kids do that to me.
They swipe
Oh,
left
shit.
on
Oh
you.
my god, yeah. My daughter looks at me and she's like, "Mother is not responding." Do I wait? Okay. Just... like you can't swipe left, honey. I'm not an app.
I'm here to
I'm your
fucking
mom.
stay.
It is like funny how ridiculously superficial you can get. Like have you ever been like sitting at the bar and you have like maybe you're waiting on some friends and you have time to kill, so you
Yeah.
pull up Tinder and like you just get in super swipe mode where you're not even reading bios. You're just like,
It's
left,
like
right,
one
left,
flaw.
left.
You're like, oh, her ears are a little weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Fuck her. She's a piece of shit.
And then
I
you
know.
look in the mirror, you're like, what have I become? Like, what piece of shit am I that I'm like, this will not do for me?
Like the phone goes black and then you see your reflection in the screen.
Yeah.
You're just like,
Yeah, like,
who am
Oh,
I?
I'm not fucking Beyonce of Rochester.
Yeah.
That's so crazy. Like, I thought I was.
I'm fascinated by. I mean, I guess it is voyeurism, but like, I want to just see because you
It
never get to
really
be on a
is
date
that.
or something like that. You never
really
get to do that
does.
with when it's not you. Like, you don't get to just watch other people's dates and like, what do people do on it? Like, I want to know. I want to know. How do people talk to each other on a first date when I'm not there?
It's always
Especially
awkward.
If you
I know,
the person and you're like, you're a piece of shit. Like, don't try and act like you're not. And like, they're going to put their best self.
Yeah.
Forward
Well, you see,
for a
okay, so
first date.
you
Yeah.
have used one of these dating apps.
Yeah.
You've seen the dudes on there. Don't you want to see them on a date? Like, you look at the
Yeah.
picture, you're like, what is this person doing on a first date?
Yeah, no.
It must happen.
Yeah.
Like, someone
Yeah.
must swipe right on them and they must go out. And like, what is that like? I don't know. I know it's voyeuristic, but I just am fascinated by like.
No, dude. The idea of watching like the intimate parts of a human's life,
Yeah.
like that's
That's not you
People do
because
it all
you
the
don't get
time.
to experience it. You're like, I want to know what is their
Yeah.
life like.
that. I mean, that has to be a show that's going to happen soon.
I would love
It's
it.
too good of an idea not to.
Well, Aziz Ansari kind of wrote a whole like a study. I guess he did like a lot of research on like the dating.
How it's like ruining.
culture now.
Yeah.
And like, I don't really know what he came down to. I just saw him talk about it on a talk show, and I definitely didn't read. But I think it's like Modern Romance is the title of the book. But just like how it really like just seeing a screen and like and replacing like it with instead of like a real human interaction, like really fucks with your mind. Like,
Yeah.
I think there's a little bit of like hysteria over, like, it's always older people being like, oh, how could you possibly do this? But like, people have been
Yeah.
going out and just meeting someone random at a
right,
bar
what's
and
a
judging
blind
them.
date
And,
too.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
people
but
do that all the time.
I think there are ways though that it changes how we interact. But I don't want to like blanket be like, oh, this is so terrible.
Yeah, no, because I mean, and I feel like people always like guffaw when people, well, at least when Tinder started, they were like, oh, guys, you met on Tinder, like, that'll last. Like, but like, it's just another way of meeting people.
Yeah.
You were
like,
drunk and hooked up with somebody at a bar, like.
Tinder is basically
Yeah.
like just a free and more convenient version of eHarmony or Match.com, basically.
But
Right.
it's the idea that those ones you had like all these profiles and answered all these questions and it gave you a
But it
compatibility
still
rating.
comes down to
Yeah.
looks.
Right, I
Yeah.
know. No one's gonna. I know. Yeah, and I mean, and it's the same thing with a bar too. You know, people are always like, "Oh, you guys met at a bar," and it's like, well, yeah, like you probably look your best when you're out drinking, like rather than when you're at Wegmans at 1 a.m. Like,
Yeah.
Buying Tuscan bread.
And you're like,
To
you're
feed your
defensive.
Ryan
Yeah.
dresses up to go get his Tuscan bread.
I make a fucking trip of it.
I'm a true foodie.
I'm wearing my cummerbund.
Ryan and some other girl both reach for the same loaf and then they lock eyes.
They're both like shivering from their Tuscan bread withdrawal.
I love it. There's your next show, Tuscan Bread Crackheads.
Intervention.
It's hoarders, but with Tuscan bread.
Well, it's funny. Like, I have two really close friends. One of them was my friend first, and this was back before dating apps. But Match.com and eHarmony were really big. And he like found this girl on eHarmony. They had a first date. It went really well. And then like within 3 months, they were living together. And within a year,
shit.
they were married. Within 2 years, they have a kid.
Oh my god.
And it has worked out like perfect for them. Like, they are fucking great together. You know what I mean? And they were great from day one. It's just like, I don't know how, like, I'm sure that the like the track record of eHarmony dates does not favor that scenario, but in an experience that I personally witnessed, because it's a close friend of mine, fucking it, you know, just happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think the credibility for sites like those there's literally like science behind the eHarmony shit and like
That's what they sell you on.
compatibility. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how like real that is because obviously love is blind. But
You get carrots from like eHarmony and you get like STDs from Tinder.
oh shit.
You get carrots?
Yeah.
It's like the Amish
rings.
Tinder.
Oh, I got you.
1 carrot, 2
Oh,
carrots.
I was like,
I thought you meant he just shows up with
I know,
vegetables and you're like,
I'm very
Yeah,
bougie.
you
I
dating
don't know
Dwight
what the-
Schrute?
Yeah.
shows up with a bag of beets.
Of course. How else would you start a first date?
We will plant our
Beginning of our
food and
courtship.
sow our oats.
I actually went on a first date about 2 weeks ago, and it's funny because I'm pretty good with first dates. because I'm good with interviews. Like I'm able to like keep conversation going, be charming. But so
Tell us more.
Yeah, no, it's a funny first
Are we
date
on a
story.
first date right now? Is that?
Yeah, we're all on a date right now.
This is the longest fucking date ever. Where's
That's
my
usually
pie?
that's usually how my first dates end right
Can you
there.
go get us beer and I'm gonna lock the door behind me?
Right.
No, so I asked out this girl on a date, and I actually I really liked the girl, like smart, funny, like I really wanted to make a good impression on this first date, so I took her to a really nice place in Rochester.
Where'd you take her? If you don't mind
Good
asking?
luck.
Oh shit! What up?
Yeah.
I love good luck. Oh my
I know,
God.
like a lot of people, like a lot of like girls say that like it doesn't matter where you take them on a first date. Like it could be McDonald's or it could be like a 5-star restaurant. But let's be honest, taking a girl to a nicer restaurant doesn't hurt,
Yeah.
right?
I think the time always helps too. Like it's if you're going at 2 in the morning, like you're like,
Yeah.
Taco Bell. But go on.
Taco Bell first date.
First date was
Yeah.
getting 40 nuggets when we're drunk in McDonald's.
Getting a family box. That's definitely happened before too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But like, so I get reservations at this restaurant and I have like $140 to my name. Like that's all I have like to spend on this dinner. And I think that's enough. We walk into this place and they have a coat check. Immediately alarm bell started going off the back of my head. I'm like, oh shit. I'm starting to factor in like coat check tips. Like how much is that going to be? And then,
You were planning on paying for the whole day?
of course,
Is that-
yeah.
okay.
See, I don't prescribe like to the convention that like I get that women can pay for their dinner and all that, but I still
With their
am a
husband's
traditionalist.
allowance money.
Yes.
With the money I earn.
No, I still think it's like a classy move for a gentleman to pay for dinner. At least the first day, like it's just one of those things that I just, despite like all the different parts of the quality, I just feel like that's just one thing that should stick around because it's like just a classy move, I guess. So I did.
There's ways to still do that and have it be equitable. Like, oh, we'll go to a bar after you get the drinks, the first round of drinks.
Yeah,
But,
and that's
like,
cool. But so I walk in, I'm like, oh shit, this place is fucking nice, and I was starting to get a little bit nervous, and I don't know. We get some drinks at the bar. We go sit down, and then the waiter walks up to us, and I plan on buying a bottle of wine too. I like having a whole bottle, just like not to myself, but to share, because there's nothing worse than like waiting for a waiter. Like, hey, can we get some? If you have the bottle there,
that's
it's
a good
like
point, yeah.
you just have it, And I made a mistake. I'm like, can you give us some recommendations on wine? And of course, he's like listing off like $70 bottles, $80 bottles, and I'm like, please, just go lower. And I'm sitting there like, oh yeah, oh, they all sound great.
I've had all those before.
Yeah. Oh, that one. That's.
I'm gonna try
good
something
year.
new. This
should've
$10 bottle you have.
Yeah. And the girl I was with, she likes like semi-sweet wines, and I usually drink like dry wines, but I said, what the hell. So finally I asked her, I'm like, which one sounds best to you? And it was a total fucking gamble that hopefully she wasn't going to pick like the $80 one or whatever. We ended up getting like a $40 bottle of wine, which was, I guess, what I was kind of expecting.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, but I don't know much about wine either. So like this waiter, and the waiter's kind of like, it's a nice place. It's a nice restaurant.
that's right.
And, the waiter was very like stiff, and, he
Like you had an erection.
No, like yeah, he might have.
Voyeurism.
He was just like very like proper and all that, and I always do this thing when I'm around like waiters that are like that. I just have to joke with them. I have
Trying
to
to get him to
break the
break,
tension.
yeah.
And this waiter comes back and he holds the bottle in front of me and he's not even saying a word. And I'm like, well, my first guess is it's a bottle.
But he probably knows that you're like out of your element a little bit, so
Yeah.
he's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck with him and like see what he
my
does when I just
God.
present the bottle to him.
I can't wait. Do you remember this guy's? Well, don't tell me. Actually, I feel
No,
like I know a
younger
lot
guy.
of people that work there, and I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Anyways, but so he
And
held
he-
it like a baby, and
He held it,
said,
and I'm like, I'm gonna guess that it's a bottle, and he didn't laugh. Luckily, the girl immediately cracked up. She got the joke, and he didn't say anything. He poured me a glass of wine, which was really awkward because I feel like it was the lady should be the one to try it. I don't know,
But
They always
that's like
do that.
you're the like sampler because you're paying for it, and you have to. I guess.
No,
had
it's a
Crazy that
poison
they
test.
assume.
I had to have this.
It's a poison test.
Oh, that's a good way to approach it.
Yeah, it's a
But I
poison
had
test.
I had to have this like awkward view as like I looked over at her and like I was just like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna drink it. Like it's a little sampler, and I don't know. I think I forget what happened next, but I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. I was like, it's pretty sweet, and he's like, yes, it's a Riesling, and I never heard that word before. And I look up and I'm like, it's very a Riesling, like. And he didn't laugh again. She got the joke and started laughing. I felt like an idiot at that point, but I'm just going with this fucking shtick that I'm like goofy idiot fucking buying wine.
I'm gonna
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Okay. What time of day did you go? And what
So
day?
it was on I think a Thursday, and it was like I think our reservations were like 8:30.
Kelsey's going through like the staff schedule. She's
I know.
like,
Yeah.
Thursday, 8:30.
Well,
I'm
here's
just thinking of how like PO'd they already were, and I feel like a Thursday
They're
is
busy.
kind of a big night. And,
Yeah.
I mean they're busy like every night, but like a Thursday is probably like a stressful night. So he's like, no time for jokes. Like if you're
Yeah.
not part of the Rochester elite, get out of my face.
I know. I knew that I was pissing this guy off. But here's the other funny part too. Is like on the way there, I pick her up and we're driving there, and I was actually like craving a fucking good old fashioned steak. I haven't had a good steak in a long time, and I'm like going to a nice restaurant. I have some fucking money in my pocket. I'm gonna get myself a steak, and I'm telling her this on the way there because we're talking about what we're in the mood for and all this stuff. And I'm like, I'm gonna get a steak tonight. The only steak they had in the menu was $65 fucking dollars.
Yeah.
So I look at it and I'm like, fuck, how do I get out of getting this steak? And I'm like, I'm looking through it. I'm like, as I'm looking at this menu, there's so many things that look good. Like, what looks
I'm
really good?
starving for cottage cheese and apple butter.
Yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
it's fucking
Gonna have
$20.
this side of
mint
applesauce.
sprig? Do you have a mint sprig to go with that?
I'm like trying to figure out how to get out of this steak. You know what I mean? We ended up splitting a pizza, which was really good, and we didn't even finish it, which was cool.
You should have acted like you were struck by the gods, and you were like, "I'm a vegetarian now."
Well, I made a joke. I'm like,
possibly get a steak.
I was like, what looks really good now that I see this menu? I'm not so sure if I'm in the mood for a steak. This $20 Caesar salad all of a sudden sounds great.
Oh my god, they have a Caesar's.
Just
Isn't
pretend you're
everything-
looking up reviews and be like, oh, you know what? Yelp says the steak here's garbage.
I should have done that. I don't know. The date ended well. I mean, it was a very good conversation all the way through. It was in Good Luck is a fucking great restaurant.
It really is,
fucking
yeah.
it's expensive.
I don't want to give you any envy or FOMO, but I think they bring. So something they promise you when you sit down is that all their beef is from one cow. Unlike when you buy beef that's been processed,
Just a
with,
huge cow?
They literally buy a cow and they don't butcher it in the restaurant, but they have somebody butcher it, I'm assuming from McCann's, and then they get all the parts of that one cow, which is pretty fucking dope.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
But so you really missed out. But I'm glad you had a good experience, but I'm really surprised that you aren't like me and you're not just telling everybody who will listen how poor you are. It's just don't get it.
Oh yeah, I mean it's a whole shtick in my stand-up act. Is let me tell you what it's like to be a fucking broke 31-year-old college student.
Yeah.
But I mean I don't know. I think I like that sort of I'm having a good time. I'm enjoying writing to that. I guess that shtick, if that's what you want to call it, because it's real. So all the jokes that I'm making aren't let me tell you this funny story about and I'm making up a joke. It's shit that happens in real life. You've heard my comedy. I have 3 minutes on paying with change. You know what I mean? What it's like to fucking stand in line while you're counting fucking pennies and dimes and the awkwardness. I wrote that joke because I fucking had to pay for a whole bunch of shit with change that day. You know what I mean? Broke 31-year-old college student problems.
See, now, I mean, like, there's things that I can't relate to. I'm almost 40 fucking years old, and I'm married, and I have kids. I don't have any idea what fucking Tinder is about. I don't have time for that shit. I can barely go to the bar anymore and, like, deal with the 20-something-year-olds. Because I look at them and I'm like, holy fuck, my kids are almost like you're behaving like my children. Sit down. Stop rubbing that pool stick against your genitals. You're behaving inappropriately. God damn it.
This is happening at the Legion?
Sometimes.
That's insane.
But I mean, like, and then you realize that, you know, you're in this like in between stage. Like, I'm not that cool 21, 22 if I ever was, but you know, I mean, like, I don't feel young and free and able to do those like 20-some-year-old obnoxious things that are kind of okay for a kid to do, you know, and because you know, coming from me, it's not okay anymore.
You and Bill should just get on Tinder and judge people.
You know what's funny
Yeah,
is
you don't
that
have to go on dates.
there's I think it was like eHarmony or Match or something like that. They had those dates where everybody showed up to a certain thing to do something. And, you know, like they were going to like a restaurant and they were doing like tasting ceremonies or something.
Oh, like a group date for
Yeah. So I had always said, like, I thought that would be like so funny if we just both showed up there and then like
Pretend
just started
to meet each other.
Yeah, and then like just start like making out hardcore on like the whole fucking hibachi grill and like getting down and dirty.
burns.
Yeah. I mean, like,
Getting married tonight.
yeah, so, and then just do something crazy, you know, get like matching like neck tattoos and, you know, and but it be okay, you know, like, oh, I'm gonna get your name tattooed on me, you know. It's like, oh, okay, I've been with you for 15 years, I probably could get away with
eHarmony
that.
will put you in their commercials.
Yeah.
Look how well our matching service works.
Yeah.
We have matching neck tattoos.
Yeah.
I feel like neck tattoo is like intense. Like if you're gonna get a tattoo and it's a neck tattoo,
That's some
Neck
commitment.
tattoo
Do you really?
on the back of my neck, so you can never see it, and I always forget that it's there. But
It's a
it is
lion.
there.
is it?
It's a lion.
It looks like the Lion King Broadway show lion.
It's actually, this is so stupid. It's the Anne Klein symbol.
I don't know what Anne Klein
I don't
is.
know.
Anne Klein is like, it's literally like, it's like a clothing store for like older ladies.
Yeah, it would be
What?
like Perry Ellis or like Nautica for guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Why did you get that tattoo on
I
you?
just love the aesthetic. I love it so much. And I hope to God that like nobody knows, but I know when I'm like pushing 60 and all my friends start shopping at Anne Klein, they're like, wait a minute. Like, my grandma is already on to me. She's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Just really like what they stand for.
I feel like that's a tattoo. Like when you're young, it looks like Mufasa, but as you
Yeah.
get older, it turns into Scar.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Didn't think of that.
Like when you're 90, it's just gonna look like Scar at the end of the movie.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I try to get all my tattoos on places that won't age, but like inevitably I will sag and age. So, like the triangle.
But your neck is not going to droop.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it does, I'm gonna get a lot of Botox shot into there. So.
I have some stupid tattoos. So like that actually sounds like nice. I didn't see the tattoo, but like I can appreciate like a classy older store like that. All my tattoos, like I have an Allman Brothers tattoo right here. I got it when I was 18 and I was listening to a lot of Allman Brothers. Now granted, I've seen them like 20, 30 times.
Oh,
Like I'm
shit.
like
Oh my
I'm a
God.
fan, but
Yeah.
when I was 18, like you would have thought that I was a super fan.
But I kind of admire that. Then it's like very like this was from a certain time in my life,
that's
and
what I
it's not a
think of
tattoo I would get
tattoos,
now.
yeah.
But I appreciate like what it reflected.
Right, like you can't
At the
regret
time.
something without like totally regretting an entire portion of your
Yeah.
life, you know? Yeah.
Well, it's
I got this Tasmanian devil when I was living in the trailer park.
What? Where is this at?
my upper hip.
Wait,
For
was
real?
it
Can we
from
see it?
someone
Is it-
living in the trailer park, or you just happened to be living in a trailer park at that time? Okay.
Because it's stereotypical of people who live in trailer parks to have.
Is it in an
Looney
area that
Tunes.
you can't show, or can we see it?
No, I don't have a tattoo.
Oh, you don't actually
I
have
don't
it.
have
Oh.
a fucking
God
trailer
damn it,
park.
you
I lived
had
in
me
the
going.
I lived in the city.
I'm like,
I have a
fuck.
tramp stamp. I have tramp stamps all the way down.
Wait,
Just
is
layers
it,
on
you
top
really,
of
I'm
it.
not-
Yeah, it looks like a real like a passport from from like a U.S. ambassador.
Oh, it's great.
Been around the world. Just kidding. I've been around the hood.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's you should write that down and write on that for sure.
It's
That's
so
fucking
unfortunate.
funny.
Every year you got to get like that model, that tramp stamp from that year to
Gotta
stay
upgrade,
current.
yeah.
I have the
This one's a
butterfly.
lease.
I have the tribal. I have.
I was gonna get a butterfly, and then I like wussied out the like right before I was gonna do it, and then I'm glad I never did, because then it became this thing like where white girls get butterfly tattoos. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Or else two dolphins.
yeah,
Yeah.
dolphins, yeah.
Two dolphins.
Because
Well, thankfully,
dolphins-
well,
It's
I'm
great.
a Pisces, so it's fish.
It's fish,
So
yeah.
Good, that's awesome. That's why I got the lion, because I'm a Leo.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh, so it has a little bit of meaning to it.
Yeah, and I was in Africa when I got it done, so I was like,
Oh, see,
yeah.
there's a lot of meaning behind
yeah.
that. Yeah.
And I love Anne Klein most of all.
No, I feel like you've like checked enough things to where that's like people like that tattoo passes like the test of it. Was this a
Yeah.
dumb thing to do or not? Like there's enough like
Enough
meaningful
significance
things.
to it.
Significance,
Thanks.
yeah.
Thank you.
I was telling someone the story the other day about the second tattoos that I got.
How
which
many
is,
do you have?
I
I
have.
didn't know you had it. I'm sorry.
So I have the Allman Brothers tattoo right here, and then above it I have on either shoulder I have the two of the Zeppelin symbols from the Zoso album.
Yeah.
And I am a big Led Zeppelin fan. Like I will stick to that one. I've always been a huge Zeppelin fan since like I don't know 13 or whatever. But I have these two Zeppelin symbols on both my shoulders that I also got when I was 18. But there's a good story behind them. So like I graduated high school with this guy who for his graduation party got this really good tattoo artist to do it like for a tattoo party.
Awesome.
Yeah, and he was like showing up like he's been in magazines, and I'm like, oh fuck, well I wanted to get a tattoo anyway. Might as well go to this grad party, and it was like going
Was
to be
there, like,
like
a
cheap
time limit?
tattoos. No, I think it was. I mean, he's probably not going to do like a full fucking back or
Yeah,
something
yeah.
like that, but. It was like the tattoos were going to be a little bit discounted from a guy that was like reputable and shit. And
On the back of a van, it's totally fine.
listen to this shit. So we show up, and my buddy, granted, he lived in like a trailer park, but he was a good guy. I mean, I just went with it. We show up, and like it was a little bit awkward, and it's because this guy is like all fucking viked out in the kitchen. He's
The
like
tattoo artist.
he took a bunch of Vicodin and he's just kind of sitting there like and the mom is like frantically trying to go around and tell everybody that's okay, like he just needs a little bit of time, like he's getting set up, and like everybody's like, dude,
I'm not getting a fucking
I just
tattoo
saw
from
that
that
guy
guy.
in the kitchen and he's a fucking waste
Oh
case.
my god, the mom was. Oh, that's
Yeah, the mom was like trying to hold it all together.
Alright, this will still be a lit tattoo party.
Yeah. So like everybody's kind of chilling in this living room, and there's all these like tattoo magazines, and everybody's kind of just like awkwardly like trying to like pretend like nothing bad is happening.
It's like the hairdresser.
Yeah.
It's like everybody waiting
Just
to
in
get
the
their
waiting
hair
room?
cut.
And so like me and this girl that I'm dating at the time, she was gonna get a tattoo as well. We're just like, after about like 40 minutes of being there and like killing time with some friends that we knew, like I don't know if this is what we're gonna do. We just decided to say fuck it, because this guy, it just kept getting worse. Like people would be like, dude, I just seen him like his hand like just like fell off the, just shit like that.
Oh my god.
So this was in Canasteel, which is like you drove through it on the way here probably. And then there's a nice tattoo shop in Hornell called Forever Arts. It's where I've got all of mine done, except for one. And so I'm like, fuck this. I had the money in my pocket. We just said we're going to go to Forever Arts. And we left, and I'm getting this tattoo on my arm by a professional tattoo artist at Forever Arts. Halfway done, I hear a woman come in the shop screaming, like, you need to fix my son's arm. You need to fix it. Like, this motherfucker like did this and that. I guess, like, someone finally got a tattoo. And it was supposed to be, it was right here.
From the party. Like, she had come from the party.
She came from the party, and I could hear this happening in the other room. And he got a tattoo of, like, a dragon, like, right here on his forearm. And it was all fucked up.
Oh, God.
It was, like, worse than, like, fucking a trailer park tattoo that someone did with, like, a fucking pen with a fucking motor on the edge. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Actually, no, you're incorrect. They're toothbrushes that they use.
Is that the
mechanical toothbrushes? Yeah, I dated an aspiring tattoo artist.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's
But yeah,
insane.
this mom comes in screaming, and the tattoo artist, I can remember him still, like, he's like, I need to go out here and see what the deal is. And I can still remember him being like, holy shit, who the fuck did this? And it was that guy from the party. That could have been you. Here's the other thing about that party. The mom that was, like, running the party and, like, frantically trying to keep things together let him do a rose tattoo on her 13-year-old daughter.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Super illegal. Like, that's not even something that you can get, like, written permission for. Like, I'm her mom, and
16.
You have to be 16, exactly, yeah.
Oh my God.
And it was like right here. No, I think it was like right here, actually.
Was it horrible?
It was terrible. It didn't even look like a flower.
Oh,
it was
God.
supposed to be a rose. And it looked terrible because, like, it was my buddy who was having the grad party. It was his little sister, and it was he did 2 tattoos that day. The one on the forearm, and then apparently that wasn't enough to convince his mom, so she let him do a fucking rose on her 13-year-old fucking daughter.
Give him a palette to shine on.
Yeah, and if you go up to Forever Arts to this day on their like counter, you know how they have before and after?
They have the before.
They have the before and after of that tattoo still on their counter.
Can we please stop there on the way home?
All right, yeah, let's stop there.
If it's not a counter, it's definitely a
Let's
book.
go get Brain Gravy Podcast neck tattoos.
Honestly, ask them. Like, if you guys stop, ask them, and I want to see if they still remember that.
That's exactly the same tattoo that Mac has in It's Always,
Always
Sunny. in
Sunny?
Philly. He has a dragon tattoo on his forehead.
Yeah. I love It's Always Sunny.
I love that.
Actually, I have a really bad dragon tattoo on my hip, and I'm turning it into a mermaid soon.
Bad because the artist did a bad job, or just like you don't like it anymore?
I forgot. I don't know. I was 20. I made a lot of really bad decisions.
Is it in a place that we can't see, or are you comfortable showing it?
No.
I want to see this dragon tattoo.
No.
Come on.
No.
She's just comfortable.
No.
She doesn't want to take her shirt off right now.
Well, if it's on the hip, you can kind of.
No, it's bad.
I got a tattoo. My first tattoo says "ha," and you guys can see it. It's on my forearm. And I had a fake ID in college, and I would always go to these like 2 bars, and there was like a really great guy, but he was like an ex-con working as like a security guard. He's like he really was very talented. Like he's still like alive. I don't know why I'm talking about him in the past tense, but like he had like done beautiful tattoos on himself, like beautiful tattoos, like freehand, and but like it was Pittsburgh, so I like he like lived in the Hill District, and like he was like, come over to my apartment and like we'll fucking do your tattoo. And he like had like clean needles and stuff, and like but like just the what was happening, we were like in this cramped apartment, this ex-con's giving me like a fucking tattoo, and like his baby mama is like, she's like 6 months pregnant, but she's like clearly not gaining enough weight to like be pregnant.
Jesus.
You know, she was like way too skinny, and she's like coughing in the back, like,
chain smoking.
Yeah, she's like she's like deathly ill. And then I like had this tattoo, and I was like, this is fun, and now it's scary. It's scary. But yeah, no, it's a good tattoo though. It kind of scarred a little weird, but like it was so little. It's like yeah. I don't regret this one either.
I've done tattoos.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
That's
really
crazy.
Yeah. The aspiring tattoo artist that I dated, he went from his mechanical jailhouse toothbrush tattoo gun. And then he got professional stuff and like the actual tattoo guns and needles and everything like that. So yeah, actually I've done a couple.
Did you do any on yourself?
No,
Oh, okay.
no, I mutilated him.
Actually, they say the best way to practice is to do it on a grapefruit, right?
Grapefruit orange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Skin mimics your dermis.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I had a friend like a while back, like kind of a friend, just a guy that I knew. And he was trying
You know what?
to be...
He might be at home listening, and he's like,
He doesn't know how to use technology. He doesn't know how to use technology. Definitely not. But he was trying to be a tattoo artist, and like he spent all this money on professional equipment, and was basically teaching himself on himself. And just every time, like I'd see him at the bar, he'd show me his new tattoo that he did on himself, and I'm just like, dude, for real? Like you're trying, like stop trying to be a tattoo artist, you fucking idiot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like I don't know. He, like one of the ones he did was he put a rooster below his knee so he could use a joke like I have something about like his cock hangs below his knee or something like that.
Terrible.
Like yeah,
Cockney accent. I don't know.
"Oh, I have
Cockney
I have
accent.
oh shit, yeah, that would have been a good one.
I have a mouse tattooed right here," and then you go like, "Oh, my pussy ate it."
Jesus Christ.
Are you serious? Or is this another?
I learned it in the
Tasmanian
trailer
devil?
park.
I don't know what to believe with you with
I don't know,
tattoos
yeah.
anymore. You have me like all over the
She really
place.
has no tattoos.
Scarred for life.
Well, you have a tattoo, right?
I have two. Yeah, I have the one on my arm. No gods, no masters, which is like an old anarchist slogan because I'm so cool and political. And then I have a wolf on my back.
What's the wolf signify?
I just like it. It's like my favorite animal, and I really like it's an artist from Minneapolis, and I really liked her style. It was like geometric and line art, and
Yeah.
so I was had a friend who lives there who's gotten a couple tattoos from her, and he had like a really awesome tree on his forearm with like the roots like mimicking the above the tree, and it just looked great.
Yeah.
And so I emailed her, and she was like, "Yeah, I have time if you come in on like this date." And so I kind of did it spur of the moment. She like sent me back and forth like different versions of what she was thinking, and
That's cool.
I went the first one. I was like very like because I'm a designer, so I'm like, oh, it has to be like perfect, exactly the way I defined it. I have to pick the right typeface that like has some meaning to go with what it's saying, and I was like so into it. And then the
Sans serif.
yeah, it's a serif. It's Kazlan. But then after that, I was like, I feel like that's not. I mean, I guess it's an okay way to do it, but like it's cool to like let an artist do their art on you, and
Yeah.
you just have to find an artist that you like, and then you both get what you want out of it. But
Dude, I have a buddy that he's a huge Grateful Dead fan, and he had to wait a year for a spot to open up with this artist down in Philly. But he recently got a the Dead like lightning bolt.
Yeah.
So he got a giant dead lightning bolt on the side of his like right here, like underneath his arm on his side. And inside it is like sacred geometry, like really like fractal shapes, or not fractal, but like what you would see inside of a kaleidoscope.
yeah,
And
that's cool.
it looks fucking amazing.
I like ones
dude.
like that, like geometric line art ones.
Yeah.
This is I don't know. Have you seen this? I don't think you've seen it in person, but that's the wolf one.
Oh yeah, dude, that's
Is that you?
really fucking
Yeah.
good.
Let me see it.
I like that.
I think
This is
it's-
the best thing to do on a podcast.
Yeah.
Show pictures.
Listeners,
No, I can see. Isn't it crazy that like I have a tattoo on my back of my neck, obviously too, and like I never thought about this until I got it, but like you will never.
You don't ever
your
see it.
tattoo.
Same thing. Same with
It's
mine.
So crazy.
I never
I'm
see it.
like, one day, like you'll only ever see it in pictures. Like obviously, it's not gonna look any different, but like I don't know.
Well, you wear your
Kinda
hair up
interesting.
sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, I do, but like me myself with my own eyes, I'll never
Oh,
see it.
yeah.
Which is kind of crazy that it's like a part of me, and I will never know
Yeah, it's true.
if it's really there or not. Like I don't even know.
Like if you actually do see it with your physical eyes, something's
Dude, what's
gone
mine
terribly
say?
wrong.
Dude, no way. Oh my god.
Oh shit. Yeah, I think we thoroughly vetted tattoos discussion. Yeah, the only other ones that I have is I had the Zeppelin Zoso, like two of them, but I actually got and it looks really sweet. I got Zoso like starting on my back here all the way through, and it connects with the one that's in there. So it says Zoso because that's the name of their 4th album, and it uses all the symbols basically to do it. So
that's cool.
Yeah, that one was by an artist in Bradford, and it was actually pretty cool because it was right here, and I've always wanted to try tattooing because I'm a little bit artistic. And I'm like, do you mind if I try? So he stepped on the gun, and I like basically did like there's a leaf because Robert Plant's symbol in the Zoso album or whatever was a leaf, or I'm sorry, a feather inside of a circle.
Okay.
So there's a feather right here, and I did all the artwork on that myself. And the guy's like, I never seen that before.
Like freehand? Or there was already the water tattoo on it?
Yeah, like you know how they do it in ink and then they just go over it? That was already there, so all I was doing was basically just like tracing it and like filling it in. But it was actually really cool to do that on yourself. You know what I mean? Like, and if the outline's already there, it was pretty easy. Like the trick is, and you can probably back me up on that.
Press too far in, right?
Exactly. If you press too far in, it's too deep, and it'll cause scarring. Like the ink won't stay in. Is that right? Mm-hmm. And then if it's too far, like if you're just like tapping it, the ink's not going in. It's just like you're, I don't know, like
God, that's so crazy.
So there's kind of like a fine line, but once you like, you can kind of feel it because too far in, like
it's a sweet
hurts.
spot.
Yeah. Yep. But it's fun. I mean, I don't know. I've always wanted to like get my own tattooing equipment and like just try, but who the fuck does that? Because tattooing shit's expensive, you know.
You can just get a fucking
but you can make good money if you become like awesome at it, or probably even mediocre at it.
Yeah. And then like the only other, like I have a music note right here, and that was like a $20 tattoo. Like Buddy was getting his first tattoo ever at Forever Arts in Hornell, and he was really nervous about it. And I'm like, dude, it's easy. I have like 2. You know what I mean? This is like when I was 18 again.
Come on, bro.
So I gave the guy a $20 bill, and I'm like, just do a music note like right here, and he did it. But it's funny because my buddy, like he's super high metabolism, extremely thin. It was Kyle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't want to say his last name. And he super high metabolism, and he hadn't ate anything that day. So he's like getting his tattoo on his wrist. He was getting like a nautical star or something like that. And I'll never.
Bleeding?
Well,
he passed out.
He passed out. Like, and I guess it happens sometimes. Like, I think it has to do with like blood sugar or something like that. But he went like paper white, and then his arms like went like this, and he started shaking, and then he like passed out, and I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
That's crazy.
He's like passed out for like 20 seconds, and then like when he came to, he had to do that thing where we had to tell him that he was getting a tattoo again because he kind of forgot like the whole events like leading up to that, and then like it all came back to him. But I guess legally, if that happens, you can't tattoo on someone for a month.
I would imagine. So they had to stop the tattoo.
They had to stop, and he had a half nautical star for like a month.
So listen, this is a story.
But yeah, let's see, what are we at on time wise? Probably should wrap it up now. Honestly, thank you guys so much for coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks
Kelsey
for
Claire.
having me.
Yeah.
Thanks for adhering to my time limitations. So.
No,
Thanks,
honestly, you're great having you. Do you want to plug anything? I guess we didn't tell any of the listeners you're a stand-up comedian. We didn't get into it.
That's okay.
Next time,
it's funner. It's more fun. It's funner to talk. So I'm a stand-up comedian in Rochester, New York. I have a couple of shows coming up at like Three Heads Brewery on the last Thursday of January, and then I'm producing a show called The Hateful Eight on February 2nd. But mostly what I'm focusing on right now is like my Don't Grab My Pussy productions kind of thing. So I did a show in Rochester, as you guys know, that raised money for
very successful show.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we raised $3,300 for Restore Sexual Assault Services, and kind of got to do like a little fuck you to Donald Trump in the meantime. And I'm planning on taking that show to Harrisburg, Pittsburgh, and Buffalo, not in that order. And then we're planning on doing kind of like like the works of Don't Grab My Pussy, so like it won't be like comedians this time around. It'll be like monologues and poetry and stuff, just to like create another outlet for people who are like seriously grieving because of this catastrophe, if you don't mind the phrasing. But
Not at all.
Yeah, so I hope to kind of take that name and soar and kill the patriarchy while I'm at it. So
Very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for letting me plug that, and thanks for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Will, do you want to do any plugs?
I'll plug my podcast, Why Do You Care? It is not as noble as what you're doing. We talk about movies and TV shows. You can find us at whydoucare.fm. And we just put out a Rogue One episode, and we have a Westworld episode and a reality TV show episode that will come out soon in the next month or so.
Yeah, really good podcast. Make sure you check that one out. Also, don't forget to like the Brain Gravy Facebook page. If you haven't yet, just hit like. It's really simple. You can follow me personally on Instagram. I'm at Ryan Heckman on Instagram. I'm on Snapchat at Donkey Brains. I'm all over social media.
I was sending someone named Donkey Brain snaps for like a month that wasn't Ryan.
Oh my god.
I had a capital D Donkey Brains.
He's like,
and
I literally have the brains of a donkey. This is so offensive.
Yeah, it's actually a throwback to
Always Sunny.
Yeah. No shows coming up, but if you follow us, Brain Gravies on Twitter, we're on Facebook. If you follow any of those places, you'll be up to date on everything that's going on with
What
this
about your
podcast
website?
and the people in it. I don't want to.
You don't want to plug it yet?
I don't want to plug that yet. There is big things in store for Brain Gravy, so I don't want to plug it yet. I want to get everything squared away before I go full ham on this motherfucker. But anyway, hey. Thank you so much for listening. Yeah, and we'll see you next episode.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.